So what's your typical day like, Mr. Pracher?
Day normally starts off around 6 o'clock. I'm definitely not a morning person. I need my cup of coffee. I get in to work as early as I can, and then the day kind of gets very hectic from there. It's a good day if there's a lot going on. A lot of times the day will speed by. Most of the time I have something tennis related after school, either a workout or some meeting or something going on. I go home, I spend some time with my wife and daughter, and then maybe at the end of the night have a little bit of time for myself, watch some television before I go to bed.
Anything that you were good at that your students may not know about?
I am definitely a Jeopardy nerd. I watch Jeopardy probably not as often now as I used to, but I used to watch Jeopardy from the time I was a very, very young child all the way through adulthood. I'm very good at it. Maybe not as good as somebody like Mr. Grillis probably is, but I am very good because Jeopardy, what people don't understand is that Jeopardy is a very structured game, and if you know the game, a lot of the questions, actually the answers to them become very apparent, even if you don't exactly know the answer. So once you start to watch over and over again, answers start to come to you, and it's just been something that I've been very excited about watching from a very young age, and I credit my mom for that, as she sat me down in front of the television watching Jeopardy from probably 3, 4 years old.
Maybe you could tutor people to go on Jeopardy.
Potentially, I don't know if I have that kind of legitimacy at this point, but I will say that it has been a life goal to eventually get on Jeopardy as a contestant. So we'll see if that eventually happens.
That would be terrific.
I've been trying. I'm not maybe good enough to get there yet, but I have been trying. So hopefully one day I accumulate enough knowledge to do so.
Especially favorite food?
In general, I would say Mexican food as a whole would be my favorite cuisine. If I had to pick out a certain food, I really love fish tacos. If they're made right. If they're not made right, they can be very, very bad. But I would say fish tacos are my favorite Mexican food. I also love just chips and guacamole. Obviously a Chipotle burrito from time to time is really good. But I would say if there was one type of cuisine that if somebody made me just eat that type of cuisine for the rest of my life, I would say I would pick Mexican food because I feel like it has more variety and there's a lot of really good flavor.
How has your baseball career had an impact upon your life?
My baseball career, now looking back on it, it's been 5 years or so since I've played in college, and what I realize now is how lucky I was, how many doors my baseball career opened. Got me so many opportunities, and I'm really, really fortunate to have had such great experiences, and a lot of that did have to do with baseball. From a personal perspective, I feel as though my day-to-day life, something that I've emphasized already throughout this interview, is just being able to deal with the ups and downs of life. I feel like I learned more about that during my baseball career than any other time, and probably more so than a lot of other people that don't have the experiences that I did. Being a baseball player, being a pitcher especially, made it so that I would struggle on one day, I would succeed on the next, and learning how to close the book and close the door on whatever you did that day, whether it was good or bad, was a skill that I would never trade for anything else, because I feel like at this point in my life, that's something that I try to carry with me. No matter how good or bad the day was, trying to stay even-keeled, trying to make sure that I don't take things home with me, that I don't take emotions home with me, that I don't create baggage for myself, is something I definitely learned during that career. I feel as though that was the most important part of growing as a baseball player and growing as a person.
It's very valuable. Compartmentalization, I think, is essential to stay sane.
Absolutely, and it is great to be able to express your feelings as well. As a psychology teacher, I would say that compartmentalizing too much could be damaging. But we have to operate in this world with a lot of different people pulling us in different directions, and if we take things home with us, if we let things kind of carry with us throughout the day that maybe don't deserve that time, we can easily have it affect other parts of our lives that we don't really want it to. So,
and other people as well.
And other people, without a doubt. And I think that's, to me, athletes, probably more than anything, when they leave their sports in college, I think that's what they take with them, is learning how to deal with the ups and downs of sport.
What can you tell me about your family?
My family, I have a new young family. I have a wife, Michelle, of 2 years. We got married almost exactly 2 years ago, and I have a 5-month-old daughter named Charlotte. And she has been an amazing addition to our family. Makes life a lot better going home, seeing my daughter, seeing my wife. I feel very happy every day, very accomplished to have the family that I do. I also have a mother and father and brother. My brother's in college. They support me incredibly as well. My mother-in-law and father-in-law as well. My father-in-law being Mr. DeLuca, who also works here at the prep. And the great thing about my family, my extended family, or my parents and in-laws, is that how much support they give to my wife and I in taking care of my daughter. And I really appreciate that every day. And my daughter is extremely lucky to have the people, so many people caring about her. But she also deserves it, because she is already at 5 months. She is a wonderful human being, so she deserves everything that she has.
Well, it sounds like an excellent situation, and I think it's all too unique among new families all around the world.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we are very fortunate, again, to have what we have.
Do you have a particularly favorite book?
I do. The Eye of the Needle by Ken Follett, who also wrote the book Pillars of the Earth, which I know is a 1,000-plus page book that a lot of high schoolers have to read that they get frustrated about. But he is a fantastic author, and when I read Eye of the Needle, which is a World War II era spy thriller, I really started to admire his writing ability, as well as some of the themes. Everybody likes a spy thriller, and I think The Eye of the Needle is probably the best written spy thriller, in my opinion, of all time.
Is that historical fiction?
Historical fiction, yeah, based loosely on real events, but also obviously a significant amount of fictional characters and events as well.
Is there anyone who you would consider to be a hero?
As a tennis coach here, I'd be remiss if I didn't say Roger Federer. My wife would probably say I'm a little too infatuated with Roger Federer. I care a little bit too much about his results. But there's always been something about him that separated himself from everybody else. He's, in many people's opinion, the greatest player of all time, yet has a humility, a confident humility about him. At the same time, he is extremely professional about everything that he does on a daily basis. For somebody that has achieved so much, to still be so passionate and so professional about what he does at 34 years of age, when most players have already retired, is something that is extremely influential in my life.
The ideals that you admire, that you see in Roger Federer, manifest themselves in your life personally?
His professionalism, I think, is something that I admire so much that I try to bring that into my life on a daily basis. Not getting too high, not getting too low, making sure that the ebbs and flows of life don't really affect how you go about your business on a daily basis. I try to be as passionate about what I do every day, because I really do think that that's something that separates him from everybody else. He plays tennis like a little kid would play tennis, but with the skill of one of the greatest athletes of our generation and really of all time. And that's something that I try to bring to everything I do. I try to be passionate about it, because I don't think you can really do great things without passion.
I'd say that's very valued.
Thank you.
Does teaching AP psychology specifically affect your everyday life at all?
I definitely think you can't help but observe the world in a different way when you start to get to understand the concepts. I just think something that, even before I taught AP Psych, but something that's been reinforced now that I teach it, is just being more tolerant and not as judgmental. I feel like the more I learn as both a teacher and also a psychology teacher is that everybody is dealing with something, everybody is going through something at some point, and I think it's important that we understand our even small role in everybody else's life on a daily basis. And so I just feel like the more I learn about some of the concepts in psychology, the more tolerant I become, and the more appreciative I become of everybody's uniqueness, and how we should be trying to get people to bring something new to the table rather than trying to get everybody to conform to the same ideal. And I think that's probably the thing that I take away most from teaching psychology on a daily basis.
I think that as a student of your class last year, I can say that I have some similar phenomena that I observe in my dealings with other people or my everyday life, and I find it to be very valuable.
Well, I'm glad that the course was able to give you some of those insights, and I'm really glad that I had you in class as well.
Oh, thank you.